Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Professor Parish and welcome to English 122 for the summer. I am so excited to have you all as students. It is a brand new course through Canvas. It's a brand new learning platform. It's going to be a little different if you've been doing dual credit or if you've done college classes for the last couple of years. It's going to be a different format, but I think that this format is going to be a lot more easy and a lot more user-friendly. My dog is in the background here, like, but I wanted to go ahead and kind of introduce myself. My name is Miss Parish. You can call me Professor Parish, Miss Parish, whatever you want. And so this is the shell, what you're looking at for English 122. So how I find this in Canvas is once you get in Canvas, I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to student view so y'all can see this. I don't want to tour right now. And you'll notice you get some of these buttons pop up, but we're not going to do a tour right now. You guys can do that on your own time. But so this is what the class looks like to you all. If you go to Canvas and you go to courses, you should see this course on there. I'm going to publish it shortly after I finish this video and get it up there. So when you look at the class, you guys will see a number of different pages, right? You will notice that a lot of the modules and things like that are currently locked, meaning that, and it'll have an unlocked date listed on there. So that means it's not ready for y'all to do the work for it. But week one's module is available, and then starting on Monday, week 2 will open up as well. So you can go ahead and work ahead if you want to. The only thing that won't be on week 2 probably is the lecture video, although I might get it up, but we'll see. So the lecture video I'm recording right now is going to be in the module 1 guide, and I'll show you guys that in a minute. But first, on the course instructor page, it's just got a little bit of welcome. This class does run June 7th to July 29th. My office and my phone number and extension and my email are there. Email is the best way to get a hold of me because there's going to be some days that I'm not on campus and some days that I am. So if you need to schedule an appointment or talk to me about anything at all, you're always welcome to email. And you can call too, but email is definitely the best way to get a hold of me. So as far as our textbooks go, I have got our textbook right here, this beautiful sucker that you could use as a self-defense weapon. It is a new textbook. We just started using it this year. It is the updated version from 2020. It's literature, introduction to fiction, poetry, drama, and writing. So I really like this textbook. I liked the old one that we used, but this one is a nice update and upgrade. So if you've not gotten this textbook, you will need this one. The white literature textbook you're going to need because most of our assignments are going to come from this book. Now, you guys can see on the page here that there's also the Kurtzner and Mandel handbook. Now, this Mandel handbook was required for English 121, but honestly, for 122, it's going to be used kind of as supplementary material. So if you don't have the handbook, it's optional. It does a nice job of explaining things about grammar, about setting up, a works cited page, things like that. So if you want to get it as a resource, you can. We are having free textbook rentals this summer, so you might as well rent it for free and then just bring it back, but it's not required. The literature textbook is the only one required. And then there's a little blurb about me at the bottom here, and I'm going to say my image of me and my dog Lucy is not showing up at the moment, but you may see my dog Huckleberry in the background sometimes in videos. But there's just a little blurb about me. I really love teaching English 122. Going over these 3 genres of text are some of my favorite things to do, and I'm really excited to have you all as students. So I'm going to go back to the home page. There is an MLA sources and citation PowerPoint right here, and I'm going to leave it here in the course information for the semester. That is yours to look at and use. And as the semester goes on, we will probably look at it in more detail. But for now, I don't think you'll need it for this first paper. But for now, just kind of know that it's there as a resource. So if you need to look up something with MLA citation, look at that PowerPoint and it will help you. So on the left-hand side, you'll see that there's a number of different links, and we're going to go over those. On the home page here, you can kind of see Module 1 is listed, and it lists Module 1 guide, which you should always look at first, and then there's the 3 assignments for this week and the Paper 1 guidelines. So you can also see in the assignments when they're due. They're all due Sunday, June 13th, and how many points each of them are worth. So we'll go over that Module 1 guide last here. But just to review over the links over here on the left-hand side, the modules page just shows all of our modules each week. It's pretty straightforward. The assignments just list all the assignments in order as they're available. So right now you can kind of see week 1 and week 2. Those are available right now. The discussions, this is where your discussion will be each week. So you can see week 1 discussion forum won't be available until Monday, but you can go ahead and click on it and kind of see what it looks like. Oh, it won't let me show. It's locked until Monday, but it's going to be an icebreaker, so it's not going to be too crazy. Your grades are going to be right here, and you can keep track of your grades. I try to update every week grades so you know exactly what your grade is in the class. So you can see that. It's pretty handy. People show you who all is in the class. So it's got a list of everybody in the class, and you can email them. My email is right there, so if you click on me, you can see I don't have a bio added here or any extra links, but you just got that. The pages show you the modules that are open. So the module 1 guide is open there. Syllabus will look there. There's a chat feature on here, and then we have a tutor.com. So if you need online tutoring, you can do that anytime. Or Joanna Lane, she is one of our tutors on campus. So if you want to send a paper to her, email me and I'll get you her email. But let's go to the syllabus page. So the course syllabus, and got a nice handy dandy calendar on here, and it shows, I like this feature because it shows you each week when things are due. Everything in this class this summer is going to be due on Sunday. This is my first time as a teacher making everything due on the same day. So y'all are my guinea pigs. This is a trial run to see if this works out good. Normally I have discussion forums due Friday and everything else due Sunday, but I'm going to try to do it all on Sunday this semester and see how it goes. I could be proven wrong. Y'all could prove me that that's a bad idea, but I'm going to try it. But anyway, I'm going to download the syllabus and show it with you all. So let's see here. So the syllabus on here kind of opens up. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. My instructor information's here. Basically, I'm not going to read this word for word, but the idea is this class is an extension of English 121. So it's basically just building on the concepts that you all learned with English 121 and focusing more on the literature side of things. So more on fiction and short stories and nonfiction, more on poetry, more on drama. And then we have a research paper because it is a college course and it's English, so of course we have a research paper. But you can see kind of the goals that we have here. My goal in this class is to make sure that you exit, because this class for a lot of you is your last English college course. And I know that sounds insane. You're like, wait, this is the last time I take an English class? It may be, because most degrees only require English 121 and 122. They don't require you to take an English class after that. So I want us to end on a bang. I want us to end us with a great semester and a great class that if you never take another English class, this one's got you covered. So we're going to be doing a lot with different types of writing, with discussing and doing different genres and texts, and then also discussing different texts and peer review, things like that. So as far as the course goals, you can see that on here. We are going to do a paper over covering short story, a paper covering poetry, a paper covering drama, and a research paper. And you can kind of see the research paper is longer, but I try to give you guys a little bit more time on it. So when we get to it, you guys will kind of see that. Drama we spend the least amount of time on because we already have an intro to drama class here at SIC and we have theater appreciation. So if you want more drama, those are the 2 classes to take. This is just going to give you like a little sampling of it. The course schedule is listed right here, and you can see week to week what all is going to be due. And this class is only 8 weeks, so it's going to go by fairly quickly. Actually, finals end on Wednesday, July 28th. So finals week is only like 3 days. It's pretty crazy. Our textbooks are listed here. Like I said, we are doing free book rentals this summer, so you can go online or to the bookstore. If you order online, it's going to charge you. You have to go to the bookstore Monday through Thursday, 8 to 4, and pick up the books if you want them for free. Obviously, I don't have to tell y'all not to plagiarize. You guys know that. Teachers anymore have tons of technology that we can detect plagiarism with, and I see your writing in this class on a weekly basis. So if I see something that looks weird and not your own, I'm going to check it out. So just don't steal from other people and don't copy other people. Like, write your own stuff. Like, that's pretty self-explanatory, I feel. As far as the grade breakdown in the class, this class is out of a lot of points. There's 1,300 points in the class, and I do that intentionally because I realize that stuff happens outside of school and you can't control it. Like, one week you may not be able to do the discussion forum, and I don't want that one missed assignment to totally crush your grade. So I do give a lot of points in this class to give you a little cushion. Now, with that being said, your papers in this class are of utmost importance. You can see there that as a total, your papers are 500 points out of the 1,300. So that's a good, like, third of the grade. So make sure that you get those papers turned in on time. And you get a chance to revise your papers. So there's really no fault there. Even if you turn in a paper that's not complete or that isn't, up to the best of standards, you'll get a chance to revise it and earn a better grade. It's getting that initial paper submitted. And then you do have exams. We have 4 exams throughout the semester that are 25 points each, and then a final. And then you have your outlines, reading responses. We'll talk about all those week to week. And then you have 7 discussion forums. The last week of class, we do not have a discussion forum. And then a final reflection. So yeah, 1,300 points. There's a grading scale here. Here's my stickler. I tell students every semester that you are probably going to get one of 3 grades in this class. You're either going to get an A or a B, probably, or you're going to fail. And that's because I don't accept late work. You have an entire week to do the few assignments that we have. It's not a lot. It's very doable. You have all week to do it. And I open assignments up a week early. So there's really no reason why you shouldn't be able to do these assignments on time. Because of that, I don't accept late work. So if you get online on Sunday night and you don't get it in until after midnight and you're like, Miss Parish, I didn't get it in. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to take it. So that's where I'm very, very strict. And so I'm going to tell you all up front that you are responsible as college students. Excuses, unless it is a dire medical emergency, unless you went to the hospital that night and are on like an ER bed and you're getting a blood transfusion, or you had a family member pass away or something dire happens, then obviously we're going to take that on a person by person basis. I'm going to handle that on an individual basis. But if you just said, oh, I forgot, or I had to work late, that's not an excuse. So just be wary that I'm very strict on this policy. So if you do have something come up that is outside of your control, like a family member being sick or ill or death, or you're in the hospital or you're in a car accident, I hope none of that happens to any of you, but I've had it happen to students before. If something like that happens, then we'll handle that. Don't worry. But if you just, hung out at the lake with your friends and forgot and you're like, oh crud, I forgot to turn in that paper, and you try to submit it to me the next day, I'm not going to take it. So just be mindful and try not to procrastinate. Procrastination is not your friend in this class. I would get assignments done early and just have it out of the way, and then that way you can enjoy your summer and you don't have to worry about it. The attendance policy and WA grades are in the link there. If you have an ADA accommodation, there is a hotline, a number extension you can call there. I don't time any of our tests or anything like that, so I don't think you'll have to worry about time extensions or anything in that regard, because I don't time our tests. It's all pretty open book, not timed, so it should be pretty easy. And then obviously for this course to transfer, you have to get a C or higher. So I've had a lot of C's, I've had a lot of A's and B's, and I've had a couple F's. So hopefully the last couple semesters I've had really good groups of students that have done really well in the class. So I hope y'all are the same. I really do. I'm pretty excited about that. So yeah, all right, so let's look at Module 1 then. Module 1, if you click on it, it tells you what's due this week. Reading-wise, you'll notice in our textbook that the readings are rather short per section, right? So in our readings, there's this little section called Art of Short Fiction on page 5, and you can check that out. I'm going to kind of thumb through the book here with you all. And you can read that little section there, and then it goes through like a couple little short stories, things like that. And then on page 14, they actually start talking about the 7 elements of fiction. If you don't know what the 7 elements of fiction are, they are plot, setting, character, point of view, tone and or style, symbolism, and then there's also theme. I always forget the last one, theme. So those 7 elements of short fiction or short story. So this first week, the readings that I have are going to cover plot, point of view, and character. So you can start there with short story and looking at plot there, and it'll go over a couple of different little short stories, pages 14 through 16. Writing effectively, that kind of talks to you about thinking about plot, and that covers pages 22 to 24. Point of view is 26 through 28. And then character is a little bit further on pages 73 to 75. So pay attention to the bold terms in this textbook, because when we have our exams at the end of each unit, I'm going to take your questions for the exams off of those bold terms and throughout these readings. So they're really short readings. They're not crazy. They're very doable, but it's important that you get those readings done each week so that you're ready for the exams when they come. And then we also have the Paper 1 guidelines, which I'll show you here in a moment. And then the 3 assignments due by Sunday are: 1, you have your discussion forum, your reading response, and the Paper 1 thesis and outline. So let's go back to the modules. If I go to the week 1 discussion forum, and I'm going to go back to the instructor view so y'all can see this. So the week 1 discussion forum is basically just going to be an icebreaker. So I just want you to tell me, like, what's your major? Why are you taking English 122? What's your biggest strength as a writer? Yes, you do have one. If you've made it to English 122, you do have a strength as a writer. And what do you hope to improve on in this class? And then finally, what's your favorite text? Why? This can be a movie, novel, drama. Just a little icebreaker to get you guys talking and thinking about writing and what your strengths as a writer are. Some students are really imaginative and they can easily come up with topics and ideas. Some are really good at writing intros and conclusions. Some are great organizers and can organize their thoughts. Some people can sit down for an hour and chuck out a draft and you're good. So, I mean, everybody has a strength as a writer, but we also always have things we want to improve on as writers as well. And so I'm curious to know what your thoughts are in terms of that. So that is the discussion forum. As far as how long the posts and the responses should be, you have to respond to 4 peers. So you do a lot of responses. As far as the posts go, I don't give you a word limit because I hate giving you word limits, because I was a student once. I know how this song and dance goes. If I tell you to write a 250 word post, guess how long your post is going to be? 250 words. So I would rather have you sufficiently answer the questions and give details in your own time than to have you feel restricted to a word limit. And the same thing with your responses. Now you're giving 4 responses. They should have some type of substance because we're doing this discussion forum in lieu of not being face-to-face as a class. So if your response is just, good post, that's not good enough. You need to say, what did you like about that post? Like, do you agree with them? Is there something they said that you thought was interesting? Is there something that you kind of disagree with and you want to talk about? Like, this is a safe space. We're all respectful. We want to be respectful of each other's views, but that doesn't mean that we can't have a healthy disagreement and conversation and a dialogue. So I want you to feel like you can comfortably express your opinion, but make sure that you do so respectfully and that you also take their opinions in consideration as well. So that's the discussion forum. The reading response, I'll pull up here for you all. The reading response, you're basically going to read 3 short stories from our literature textbook. They can be any short story that you want. The only caveat is that one story has to be from the plot section of our textbook, and it's pages 6 through 13. One has to be from the point of view section, which is 29 to 68. And one has to be from the character section, which is pages 75 to 114. So your 3 stories one has to come from each section, but you can pick whichever story that you want. And I've listed those stories here in this reading response guideline so that you can see what your options are. After you've read those 3 short stories, Your response should have a brief introduction, a brief conclusion, and the body paragraphs should answer these questions. Describe your first story and what element of short story it uses most effectively. What does it use least effectively? If it's from the plot section, it should be plot, but maybe it's not. Maybe you disagree. What element does it least use effectively? With your second story, explain the point of view and why you think it was chosen to be included in the point of view section. With your third story, describe the characters and why you think it was also chosen to be in the character section, like what makes it stand out. And then which of these three stories do you like best and why? Which do you like the least and why? So there's not really a wrong answer to these questions. It's all you explaining your own opinions about the readings. And then your reading responses should be over a full page, should be at least a full page in length, double-spaced, 12-point font. It can be over that though. And they're due Sunday by 11:59 p.m. All right. And you can, it'll let you attach the file there in the assignment. All right. And so the last assignment for the week is the paper 1 thesis and outline. And I want to go ahead and open up the guidelines for your first paper and talk to you about it. All right. So as far as this paper goes, your first paper, you've got some options. You've got 3 options, and I like giving you guys choices on what to do for this paper. So your first option is that you can go the creative writing route. You can write your own short story. You can use the 7 elements of fiction or 7 elements of short story, and you can construct your own that you want to present. I've had a lot of students choose this, and they've made some really cool stories. I've had students do like crime noirs, like dystopian future, romance. I've had students do kind of like fan fiction, where one student, she did like the cast of Grey's Anatomy in Vegas. It was interesting, very different. But you can do something like that and do your own short story, or it can be a story about something from your memories. It can be a nonfiction, like a memoir. You can do something like that. If you don't want to do creative writing or go that angle, that's fine. You've got 2 other options that you can do for this first paper. The first is you can analyze and review a story that is not in our textbook, which is fine. Or, probably the easier route, is you can compare and contrast 2 or more stories from chapters 1 through 14 in our textbook. So chapters 1 through 14 in this giant book are all about short story. And there's so many examples, but you could do a compare and contrast of 2 or more of those stories for your paper. So you've got a lot of options, right? The paper itself should be at least 3 full pages, 1-inch margins, 12-point font, legible font, no cursive or bold fonts. I know how it works. Some of you are like, I'll choose Arial bold. I'm like, that's not proper 12-point. It may say it, but I know better. You do have to cite your textbook in MLA, as well as any other optional sources for MLA. So you might check out that PowerPoint this week if you're not familiar with MLA, but you do have to cite your textbook if you choose option 3. And then you should cite whatever source you use if you don't use the textbook, but if you use another story. All right. And then as far as due dates, the paper 1 thesis is due this Sunday. Next Sunday is the draft. So you guys are going to get about 2 weeks per paper, and then a little bit more when we get down to the research paper. And then the revisions, after I grade them, are going to be due July 4th. And then the breakdown of your score is going to be right here. So it's out of 100 points. All right. So the final assignment for week 1 is the thesis and outline. And I, as a college student myself, when I was in undergrad, when I was a freshman and sophomore in college, I hated outlines. I hated them. I just wanted to sit down for 3 hours and chuck out a paper. Like, that was what I wanted to do. I was like, I'm just going to sit down and write my paper in 3 hours and be done with it. And that worked for a while, but the more college classes I took, the harder the papers became, the longer they became, and the more difficult it became to try and just chuck out a draft. Because I'd get unfocused, I'd get off topic, and things just wouldn't be succinct. So I like the idea of outlines now because there are things I can follow, and it's a framework. Like, it can change over time, and oftentimes it does, but it's something I can follow and write with, and I don't ever feel lost as a writer. I can always link back and loop back to a point or a topic in my outline. So what I want you all to do is to, one, tell me what your thesis of the paper is. Like, which option did you pick and what is your topic of paper 1? And then the second thing I want you to do is to outline, create a skeletal framework that details the points of your paper. I mean, it can be very basic. I just want to know that you have an idea about how you're going to construct your paper. And it can change and it can develop, but I want you to at least have that framework that you can build off of. All right? And then if for some reason, like, you choose option 1, the creative short story, and you don't want to spoil me on the ending, then you can just put that in the outline. You can say, Miss Parish, I don't want to spoil you on the ending, but there will be a twist and turn here. And it's like, okay, cool. And that's all you have to do. So that assignment's due Sunday as well. So yeah, that is the module for this week, week 1. There's 3 assignments and some readings, and then obviously watching this video. And then next week, starting on Monday, this second week will be open, and you can go ahead and look at it if you want to. You can go ahead and look at it if you want to. I will go ahead and tell you that the short story exam is not going to be until week 3. It's the only exam that is not the same week the paper is due. I wanted to give you guys an extra week to go over your assignments or your readings for the short story unit. So the exam for short story will be in module 3. But next week you'll just have basically 3 assignments like you did with this one. All right? As always, if you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to let me know, because I'm always here to answer questions. I usually check my email Monday through Friday, and then occasionally on the weekends. If you email me on Saturday and Sunday, I won't be on as often because it's the summer and I'll be outside. But throughout the week, I will be answering your emails at least at night. All right? So if you have any questions, let me know. But otherwise, I'm so excited to have you as students this semester. It's going to be a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the discussion forums in this class because I feel like the questions get you guys to really talk about things that you like, and it gets a cool discussion going, and students find similarities they have with their classmates, and it's a lot of fun. So I'm excited to have you all as students. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and I'll talk to you all again next week with Module 2.